Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tracking down something pretty wild, the literal ghost in the machine. We're going to break down exactly how our screens and speakers try to translate the real world, and what happens when they completely fail. If you've ever stared at a piece of tech and felt like your eyes or ears were straight up playing tricks on you, you are exactly in the right place.
So let's start with a really weird visual phenomenon. Picture this, right? You're watching TV. Maybe it's one of those sleek new car commercials. The car is speeding down the highway, but suddenly the wheel rims look like they're spinning completely backward. Or, honestly, sometimes they just look totally frozen while the car is flying forward. It kind of breaks your brain a little bit, right?
Or hey, how about this one? Have you ever seen someone wearing a finely striped shirt on a webcam or maybe a news broadcast, and suddenly their chest just turns into this dizzying, psychedelic, wavy pattern? It pulses and shifts totally unnaturally when they move? Well, here's the secret. These aren't just random, unrelated camera glitches. They're actually symptoms of the exact same underlying digital culprit.
Section 1. The Digital Ghost. Uncovering the invisible culprit behind everyday tech glitches. We call this overarching culprit aliasing. Think of your computer as a super fast but very literal sketch artist. Aliasing happens when a signal from the real world is changing faster than the computer can actually sample it, or, take a picture of it. Because the computer inevitably misses the peaks and valleys of that fast-moving signal, it basically panics. It mistakenly connects the dots it did manage to capture, and in doing so, it invents a completely different, lower-frequency signal that just doesn't exist in reality. It connects the wrong dots, and poof, a digital ghost is born.
Section 2. Translating the real world. The clash between infinity and computers.
Now let's take a look at the fundamental limit of our technology. The physical world is completely continuous. It's infinite. Sound waves wiggle incredibly smoothly, and light just flows without interruption. But the digital world, it's rigid. It's totally limited by code. Computers absolutely cannot handle infinite, smoothly flowing data. To understand our world, they literally have to chop it up. They convert physical reality into code by taking rapid-fire digital snapshots, and that's a crucial process known as sampling.
So here's exactly how we sample the world around us. In audio, the sample rate is just how many times per second a computer measures a sound wave. For video and graphics, it's the number of pixels or frames captured every single second. It's a pretty simple equation, honestly. If you capture these snapshots fast enough, the digital replica looks and sounds perfectly smooth. It perfectly matches reality. But if you don't, if the computer falls behind, well, that is exactly when you invite the ghost in.
Section 3. Aliasing in the wild. 3 ways the ghost haunts our screens and speakers. And this brilliantly illustrates the hard evidence. First up, that wagon wheel effect. As we mentioned earlier, this happens because the video camera's frame rate, its sample rate, simply fails to keep up with the spinning object. It misses the rotation, connects the wrong dots, and bam, creates the crazy illusion of the wheel spinning backward. Next, moire patterns. Those psychedelic visual illusions on striped clothing, they happen when the superfine details of the fabric exceed the sampling resolution of the digital sensor. And finally, audio aliens. Listen to this. If a sound is too high-pitched for a digital audio sample rate, it doesn't just disappear. No way. It actually folds back into human hearing range as this harsh, robotic, totally distorted, low-pitched buzz. All 3 of these are the exact same phenomenon. It's just reality moving way faster than the digital snapshot can capture.
Section 4. The Golden Rule. How scientists keep the ghosts away.
To actually tame this digital wilderness, enter the Nyquist-Shannon Sampling Theorem. This is the ultimate rulebook for keeping the ghosts away. If we strip away all the complicated math, the theorem states one simple, absolute truth. To accurately capture a signal without aliasing, your sample rate absolutely must be more than twice the highest frequency you're trying to record. That's it. Whatever you were trying to capture, you just have to sample it at double the speed.
Let's make this highly visual with a jump rope analogy. Imagine you're watching someone jump rope. If the rope spins around exactly twice a second, the theorem says you must open your eyes at least 4 times a second to accurately track where that rope actually is. Think about it. Open your eyes any less than 4 times a second, and your brain simply misses too much data. You're going to connect the wrong visual dots, and the rope will bizarrely look like it's hovering in midair or even spinning backward. You absolutely have to double the speed of the action.
20,000 hertz. Take a second to really think about this number. This is the absolute biological upper limit of human hearing. The highest, most piercing sound a human ear can possibly detect tops out right around here. So the crucial point is how this biological limit completely dictates our digital standards. Notice how these numbers piece together like a perfectly solved puzzle. Human hearing stops at 20,000 hertz, right? According to that Nyquist limit we just learned, we have to double that to avoid those audio aliens. That brings us to 40,000 hertz. Then, engineers cleverly added a little safety cushion of 4,400 hertz, just to be absolutely sure. Add the whole shebang together, and what do you get? 44,100 hertz. That is the exact standard sample rate for CD audio. Our own biology literally engineered this math to prevent the digital ghost. How cool is that?
Section 5. Busting the ghost. Clever tricks to banish the glitch.
Since we obviously can't always perfectly control the wild, infinite frequencies of the real world, engineers have built some incredibly clever tricks to enforce these rules. Step 1 is anti-aliasing filters. Before a sound or image is even digitized, it passes through a physical filter that aggressively cuts off any high frequencies above the Nyquist limit. It essentially tells the computer, hey, if it's moving too fast for you to understand, don't even look at it. Step 2 is oversampling. Modern systems will initially sample at massively high rates, like 96 kilohertz or even more, just to give the system plenty of room to easily filter out all that digital junk before saving the final file. And step 3 is anti-aliasing in graphics. Video games actually use software to subtly blur those jagged edges, smoothing out the digital harshness just to trick our eyes into seeing smooth reality.
Which really brings us to our final thought for today. How much of your digital reality is an illusion? How much is just heavily filtered behind the scenes just to look normal? Pretty much everything you watch, play, and listen to on a device is a mathematically constructed replica. It's a fascinating, honestly kind of fragile translation of the physical world, kept intact only because brilliant engineers figured out exactly how to tame the ghost in the machine. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep asking questions about the tech around you, and I will see you next time.